morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at a Rillaboom card. Now, we've never had a look at a Rillaboom card before. There is actually another one that's out there. We'll get to that one shortly. So this technically isn't the first ever Rillaboom card, but it is certainly an extremely exciting Rillaboom card. And because the lovely Pokemon folks have apparently been very lovely and in good moods lately, they've gone and shown us an English version of Rillaboom, so none of that translation malarkey needed. Starting off, we've got 170 HP, which is on the higher end for Stage 2s. Not unheard of, but it's higher than, for instance, the Inteleon we looked at the other day. It does have a retreat cost of 3. Retreat cost of 3 is really annoying. It means it can't be searched out with Pokemaniac. It means that it cannot use buff padding to get itself a bit of extra HP. So that's kind of annoying. And it's weak to fire. And Welder decks are running around everywhere at the moment. So we're not huge fans of the fact that we have a weakness which is probably going to come back to bite us. It's a bit annoying. But being a grass Pokemon's quite nice. We do have Netball that lets you search out basic grass energy and basic grass Pokemon. And we've got Life Forest Prism Star that lets us heal 60 damage and special conditions, which is pretty nice. It is all special conditions as a side note here. Gardenia, it's not terrible, you know. Does a little bit of healing, 80 damage for one of your Pokemon with a grass energy attached. My point is, if you want to do a bunch of healing, grass Pokemon have totes got your back. But is it any good? And frankly, based on the ability, yes. Yes, it really is. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 grass energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Oh. Yeah, that's really good, ladies and gentlemen. That's really good. I mean, there's 3 things about this, right? First of all, it's energy acceleration. Energy acceleration in and of itself is pretty gosh darn good. Secondly, it is energy acceleration from the deck. Energy acceleration from the deck has always been better. Something like Naganadel or Malamar, they're really good cards. I'm saying nothing negative about them. They're great. But you've got to get the energy into your discard pile, and we've all played those kind of decks and had turns where we can accelerate. Oh no, but actually we've got no energy in the discard. It is 2 energy, and it's to any of your Pokemon. And all of that adds up to just a really, really good Pokemon. A really good ability. The fact that it accelerates from the deck, the fact that it's 2, the fact that it's to any of your Pokemon, it's just brilliant. And it doesn't need to be in the active. This works from the bench. I absolutely adore this Rillaboom card. Now, it is a Stage 2. And that's going to be the case for all the first partner Pokemon cards we're going to be looking at over the next few days. They're all Stage 2s, right? But maybe we can work around that. I mean, that Inteleon I mentioned earlier, that actually... it's not that bad. When you evolve it up, you get to search your deck for any 2 trainer cards and put them into your hand. So that's kind of nice. And when you add in that we're getting a whole bunch of really good Pokemon search options like Evolution Incense in the not too distant future, and maybe we're going to be getting to a stage where Stage 2s are actually significantly more viable. But going back to the ability here, essentially any Pokemon that uses grass energy or colorless energy can absolutely take advantage of this. Look at something like Indeedee V that we looked at the other day. Indeedee V, very nice Pokemon, does 10 damage base, plus 60 for each energy attached to the defending Pokemon, for a Psychic and 2 colorless energy. Or a Psychic and a Rillaboom's ability. Plus, I really quite like the combo here, because Indeedee can heal 20 from your active Pokemon. So if you're playing a grass Pokemon doing all of this healing stuff anyway, Indeedee's going to come along and work quite nicely. And as a side note, if you're really worried about weakness, we do have Weakness Guard Energy at the moment, which, unless your opponent's really running around with stuff like Faber, is probably one of the safer cards at the moment. Or safer types of cards. You know, Enhanced Hammer's gone and rotated out, so Special Energy's not the easiest one to get rid of. But in terms of accelerating multiple energy cards from the deck to your Pokemon, there just really aren't that many options. I mean, it's rotated out now, so it's not something we can actually use, but I did, at least at the time, really like the Chandelier from Plasma Freeze that let you search for 1 fire energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon, and then put a damage counter on. Well, hang on a second, that's a Pokemon with 30 less HP, and it's only 1 energy rather than 2, and you've got to take a damage counter for doing so. I mean, if you compare this to that Chandelier, it's not even close. This is just an inarguably significantly better ability. So that's kind of nice. I mean, we do have a couple of attacks that can do similar things at the moment. Well, no, that's a lie. We have one. We got Pikachu and Zekrom. Now, Pikachu and Zekrom is free energy, but it is on an attack. Now, it's also an attack that does 150 damage, so it's pretty good in that regard. But make no mistake about it, this is not some kind of ability where, we got a bunch of options. I mean, when we look at Naganador's great. And Malamar's great. But they're very kind of similar Pokemon, and we've seen, Malamar's ability on Electric, and we saw it on Bronzong, and it's all good. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about these cards. I'm just saying that that's the kind of ability we've seen a few times here and there. Whereas this Rillaboom ability really is a step above the other similar kind of abilities. There was an Ampharos back in Call of Legends, or Heart Gold Soul Silver, same deal, that for 1 lightning energy did 30 damage and searched for 2 basic energy and attached them to one of your Pokemon. I mean, the only one we really had, we got 2 at the moment, right, which are somewhat comparable. So we had the Mew from Shining Legends, which has since rotated out, that for 1 psychic energy let you search for any 2 energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Great because you can attach them to different Pokemon. Great because it had free retreat. But it was a psychic energy, and it was a 30 HP Pokemon. That was kind of awkward. And then far more recently, we've had Victini, the one that came out in Unified Minds, and a Victini from Unified Minds lets you search your deck for up to 2 basic energy of different types, and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. But all of these are attacks, not abilities, and none of them stack, because they're attacks, not abilities. Yeah, this stacks. This will absolutely stack. And that in and of itself is kind of dumb. I mean, let's say you get 2 or 3 Rillaboom out, and using the new Inteleon or using the Meganium, for instance, maybe that's something that can actually be done. Hang on a second. Now you're attaching an extra 2, an extra 4, an extra 6 energy during your turn, in addition to the one that you can attach for your turn. And because you're attaching from the deck, you don't have to get them in your hand or get them in the discard. You just attach them. As a side note, if you are going for this, I know it's a tag team, but do consider Rowlet and Alolan Executor, which does let you, for 0 energy, just evolve one of your bench Pokemon right up to a stage 2. That's going to help you with your consistency here. But now imagine that you're using an attack which does more damage depending on how many energy is attached to the Pokemon. I mean, let's take something fun like the Blissey from Lost Thunder. For 3 colourless energy, you get to flip a coin for each energy attached to Blissey and do 80 damage for each heads that you flip. Oh, hang on a second. That could be super fun with this, ladies and gentlemen. This could be really, really good. All of a sudden, those super expensive attacks aren't that expensive. I mean, if we flick very quickly to the attack on Rillaboom here, it's not the focus of this video and it's not something I'm loving. 3 grass energy, 1 colourless, 140. Now that is a hideously inefficient attack. I expect to be doing more than 140 if I'm putting 4 energy on. It's not good. But having said that, from 1 ability in my attachment for the turn, that's free energy. To be fair, free energy 140, I'd actually really like this because of the ability, and I still don't like this attack, right? I still don't think it's actually a good attack, but I do think that you will at least occasionally be able to use it, whereas without this ability, I'd just be going, well, this sucks. Like, this is absolutely terrible. Take Alolan Executor GX. The first attack for 1 grass energy does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to this Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So it lets you hit a huge amount of damage to the bench as long as you can stack energy on. Well, now you can. Something like Celebi and Venusaur, which really became unplayable because we no longer had double colourless energy and it was too slow. Now all of a sudden you can use Celebi and Venusaur. Or you can use Venusaur and Snivy. Now I am being a tiny bit disingenuous here, because actually it wasn't just the lack of double colourless energy. I did mention those welder decks earlier, and anyone playing any kind of fire will run through any of these grass tag team decks a bit too easily. So that's annoying, but don't get me wrong, right? This is still a very good ability. It is a stage 2. And being a stage 2 is kind of annoying. No arguments there. But it's also got a phenomenal ability, which is significantly better than other similar abilities we've had in the past, which will make all of your grass decks better. And we are, it looks like at least, heading into a format where stage 2s and non-GXs are going to be a little bit more reliable. So maybe, just maybe this can work. Either way, I'm going to have to give it 4 Wassies because I am absolutely enamoured by this ability. I think it's brilliant. I love it. I adore it. And I like monkeys. Also, how does Grookey, who's clearly a monkey, evolve into Rillaboom, who's clearly an ape? Just going to leave that one out there. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to know what you think about Rillaboom, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.